All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Blueprint Podcast. I'm here at Level 1 Fitness in Edo, Houston, Texas. Here with my friend Love Carter, and we're gonna be doing Gospel Spin. So Love is gonna be leading us through a spinning workout. So tell us what we can expect from Gospel Spin tonight.
I mean, you can expect to worship while you work out and burn a lot of calories.
Okay, we're gonna be listening to like what kind of music we're listening to.
Honestly, music is such a beautiful thing. So we're gonna be listening to all genres of music, newer Christian music, and of course we got the old school.
All right, I'm excited. So after we work out, we're gonna head back to the studio and I'm gonna interview Love on faith and business, her Nigerian roots. We're gonna talk about like business, all the things. So I'm probably gonna die, y'all, because honestly I have not been working out. So it's gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna take y'all through the whole workout. So you're gonna get to see all of it. So let's get it. What's up, y'all? We are back in the studio. We got our AC, we got comfortable seats, and we're going to talk about the intersection of faith and business, specifically for the fitness industry. And so here with Love, and y'all saw in the intro, I did her Gospel Spin class, and it was amazing. Got a good workout in, great vibes. And so I want to kind of talk about, fitness industry, business, but I first want you to kind of introduce yourself, right? So we got to see you in action, the hype woman, fitness guru, but like tell us kind of what's a little bit of your background. What do people need to know about you?
Okay, so my name is Love Carter. I'm born and raised here in Houston, Texas.
All right.
I come from a two-parent household. My parents have still been together for over 30 years. Wow. My mom is Nigerian. My dad is African American.
Okay.
And I see life through the lens of love.
Okay. I love that. You're also a realtor.
Yeah, I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I'm starting up a podcast too, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
I am an MC part-time as well.
Okay.
If you book me for an MCing gig, I mainly do like Nigerian events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Weddings, baby showers, things like that. I'm a gospel spin instructor and whatever God wants me to be.
Yeah, I love that. So like two things we're going to come back to. We're going to come back to the Nigerian roots because I've just been, it's kind of weird. Like I've had a lot of Nigerians on my podcast recently. Yeah. I think there's the hustle mentality of the immigrant experience in the U.S. I think I jive with it. So that's why I've been kind of in the same circles. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about your family legacy, right? Having two-parent household and kind of how it's impacted you in your entrepreneurial journey. So those two things that I want to come back to.
Okay.
But let's talk about the gospel spin first.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why did you start Gospel Spin?
Yeah. Okay. So, Gospel Spin, I just think I was just in a space where I love fitness. I love working out. And every time I came into the gym, it's like 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 8 a.m. And I'm listening to What a Huck Hunter on a Monday morning. Like my head is busting. I'm like, you know what? Like I said, like there's nothing like it. I need to create a space, and if I feel this way, I know other people could feel this way too. Whoever this space is for, I need to at least create it since I don't see it around. And so that's when I was all like, Gospel Spin. I want to be able to still work out, and there's so many different Christian music genres, and you can vibe to anything, you know. So that's when that idea was birthed.
Okay, I love it. So you kind of you were going to classes yourself, like, yo, I kind of want to do this on my own. Kind of add my own spin to it. So you launched Gospel Spin. I know from my experience, it was so cool to like know the songs, because like most of the time when I did spinning a lot last year, and he was starting getting into biking, and then somebody stole my bike. But I think we're gonna get another one at the end of this year. But like you said, the music is sometimes like a lot. Right? And I think if the music fuels you, like if the music isn't on point on a spin class, you will die. So you really need that music to be on point. 100%. But like my spirit connected to something different this time, right? Because I was like, yo, these are songs I had worship to, that I connected to on a spiritual level, right?
Of course.
And so it was a slower song that I can't remember who the artist was. Maybe like Donnie McClurk. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a slower song. And like I kind of had a moment where I just kind of wanted to clap. Like, like I was in church almost, and I was kind of just like, this is a different experience, right? So I love being able to bring that spirit in like a really like subtle way. It wasn't like we were worshiping. Like,
no,
it was no, I was
out.
dying, y'all. I was not, there was no hand raised. Like, I was kind of like, yo, this is,
we were working
this is
out.
intense. We was getting workout in.
And honestly, I think with doing a lot of people say, I've heard some really powerful pastors say, just like, your ministry changes you. Your ministry is what kind of changes your heart. It's not really just like a physical, tangible change. Right. And so that's what I've seen with music, because now my ears are so sensitive, and music is spiritual.
Right.
You know, by the time you really listen to a beat, something can get you hype. You listen to something sad, all of a sudden you depressed. Like, you know, music is such a spiritual thing. So I just think like with working out already, keeping it upbeat, keeping your spirit filled and fed. Like I call it worship while you work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, like I burnt the same 700 calories I would have burnt in a regular class, but instead of feeling like I'm just like so depleted, I'm even leaving spiritually filled as well. I've had people come to my class and they're going through healing journeys. They've hurt themselves or something like that. And now they're like going through this process of learning their body again. They're like, love, little do you know, I wanted to break down into tears when that song came on. And you just cycling and you pushing through the pain, and everybody's coming whatever they come. But instead of you to be listening to anything, you hearing, you got it. Oh, he's able. You're able. Da 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 da. God is gonna work it out. Like, bro, he gonna work it out. He gonna work it out.
That was my favorite song, bro. I think that was one of the first songs we played, and that was a perfect Spinn song for sure. I think even the community piece of it too. Of course. Because I knew everyone there. I was like, okay, if you're coming to gospel Spinn class, like you either have a faith journey or had one. Correct. Or like, so it's kind of like a shared understanding of like, okay, I understand where everybody is almost at coming to it. Right. So it kind of almost made me more comfortable.
For sure. Like, and I think it really creates a safe space, right? Because I've even had like BBL baddies, like people coming to my class, yes, baby. People like, you know, smell like a pound of weed, like just came to work out. And I'm like, y'all know y'all in gospel Spinn class, right? This is a gospel Spinn class, you know that, right? And they're like, oh yeah, you know, I know it's a gospel Spinn class, but by the time the music start, baby, we all children of God. Like we all trying to work out. We all worshiping while we work. And like, it's just crazy because God can bring anybody and anything, just create the space.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's so, you know, I think this can be replicated in so many different industries, of course. Right? 'Cause I think what's unique about this is you're applying your faith and music to this particular type of workout. This could get applied to other businesses, right? Okay, how can we find ways to integrate our faith in cultural experiences, no matter what business, you know what I mean? Finding ways to incorporate into real estate or incorporate it into finance, you know what I mean? So that's why I want to kind of like zoom out really quick and be like, hey, you guys, you know, as you think about your own business, how you live your life, like how can you incorporate these aspects?
Exactly. I think it always comes down to being bold and really just being obedient and being a vessel, because you have ideas on your heart. God gave somebody that idea, but who's actually going to be uncomfortable and launch themselves and be vulnerable to be like, this is what I believe. This is who I am. We keep our faith so private. But in reality, this is what's fueling you, you know? So I definitely feel you.
And like you said, I mean, people coming into it with maybe a different cultural experience, but they still know their soul wants it. Exactly. And we still crave God, even if we don't know we're craving the Lord.
He's water.
So, anyway, we can create an opportunity for someone to experience God, and no matter what it is. So I'm proud of you for that.
And I always love that. I know we'll move soon, but I always love that, because that's one of the biggest things about what I believe is that, like, regardless if you're Buddhist, regardless if you're Muslim, regardless if, you know, whatever, like, even the atheists know that there's something bigger, like there's something more that they want. Like, even though it may not be the cookie cutter God that everybody be talking about, but you know that there's a creator, you know, that brings you to your higher self. And I think just bringing that out of every single person is just what life is really about, you know?
So good. Okay, so let's switch a little bit, because during the class, you were like I don't want to say like code switching, but some of your Nigerian kind of expressions were coming out, and I was like, oh, I love it. Like, so let's talk about kind of how even that's impacted your entrepreneurial drive, right? How has kind of that expression of who you are, right, really kind of played into, you know, your entrepreneurial drive.
Right. And so, okay, so like I said, my mom is Nigerian. Most of the Nigerian kids, you know, you have to go to school. You have to make sure you have this white piece of paper. This is your life. Your mom is an immigrant. Like, how can you come to America and not go to school? But I took the untraditional route, and I didn't go standardly through college. That's when I got into real estate, jumped right into my career at 19 years old. Wow. And so I think even with that made me bolder, but it also like put a target on my back, and now I have something to prove, you know? Yeah, and so especially to my Nigerian mom, like I remember I was still trying to do at least one class. I'm like, okay, let me do one class every month so my mama can at least feel like I'm still in school. Yeah. And one day she was just like, how are you only doing one class a month? Like, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, I'm already only doing this for you. So now let me just let it go in general so I can focus on what I actually want to do. Yeah. And that honestly, like, broke so many chains for me and opened so many doors. So I think being Nigerian, there's this, like, you know, they always say Igbo women like money, but there's also this, like, drive to go and get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I went to Nigeria for a month, and I think that was the biggest thing that I saw. Like, people are running up and down on the streets with coconuts and stuff. They selling you anything. Yeah. You buying, I'm selling. Like, you know, and I just think with that running through my veins, like, what can I not go after? What can I not try to do, you know?
Yeah, I love that. And another thing that I really appreciate about Nigerian culture, especially for those who are in kind of living in the U.S., is y'all support each other so well. Like, community is tight, and like there's some musical artists that I know. There's a Christian rapper that I've never heard of, and this man got millions of streams, and I'm like, who is listening to this dude? And it's like, I know it's his Nigerian community. Like y'all support each other, right? Run it up. And so talk about like what is that? Like, talk about that experience, and how have you experienced that?
Yeah, I just think that most of us know that. And I've experienced that because I didn't go to the schools that a lot of Nigerians, and if you're in Houston, most people from A-Leaf, what's up? Like they're from the SWAT, you know what I'm saying? All the Nigerians, they tight niched in there. I didn't go to their schools. My mom put me in private Catholic schools. So they don't claim me, but I was a part of like, you know, we had like ASAs, African Student Associations that I pulled up to, or I'm a Nigerian dancer. I grew up dancing culturally. So I was a part of a little dance groups, you know. So at the end of the day, we all know each other, and our parents are all friends, and you know, we're all cousins some type of way, even though we're not related, right? But being that all of them came from Nigeria, all of our parents came from Nigeria, and you know, are mostly not nurses, doctors trying to get it out the mud. I think we all grew up together, and so we kind of feel this. If you notice, like, I don't think a lot of African Americans have this, but Nigerians, we have this. My mom is a part of CWO, Catholic Women Association. That's all Nigerian women. There's Ide Millie Troop that is here. There's like, my dad is a part of the Red Hat community. He who do he. Like, there's so many different little things that we make sure that like, now we're connected. So I think all the children growing up together has definitely helped that out.
I love that. Yeah, and I think, you know, for the African American experience, I think a lot of times we have that connection through like, you know, like church and like those expressions. I think it's just every culture has their own unique way of kind of gathering, and I've just particularly been interested and fascinated by just like the West African experience. And so my wife has been telling me to get like the DNA test or whatever, so I can figure out like, you know, where but I'm like, I really feel like, I was like, Lord, I really want to be Nigerian, because like, it's just like a lot of people that I look up to are like, have, you know what I mean?
There's so many different little pocket groups, like they make them like pay a membership every month, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, even if somebody passes away, my cousin is having a baby shower and everybody has to show up. There's mandatory events that you have to show up to. Like, that's how we keep it, you know, that's how we keep it reciprocal. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shoot, if you got that little 5%, you never know. Exactly. They might let you come in, my brother. You're good. Like, what's up?
I love that. And that ties back into even just the entrepreneurial conversation in terms of, you had that drive because like you weren't going to school, so hey, you really got to get it. Correct. And then because I know you said like you went to a couple of Spinn classes and then started gospel Spinn like I mean, like you were not like you weren't like certified or anything. Like, you were like, hey, listen, like I just did this a couple times, started my own thing, and then jumped into it. And so like even that, and then just knowing you were gonna have people that were gonna support you and get behind you. And so I love that for you. So you also mentioned just having a strong family unit. So obviously I know your mom has been tough on you, but also at the same time you had a mom that was there. Of course. And like, hey, you know, a lot of people don't necessarily have that, right? And so for you to have that, so talk about how your family unit, having your parents, that foundation, how that's going to help you have an advantage in kind of your life.
Yeah, I can definitely say it's helped me have an advantage. I cannot lie. And I think that's why, I'm always bring it back to God. Like, there's even places in Matthew where it really talks about, like, the long descendant line of Jesus, like the son of this person was the son of this person that was the cousin of this person. Like, just knowing where you come from is so important. And I think seeing my parents be together for so long, not give up on each other, completely cultural differences. My dad is completely African American. Like, even when my mom first met my dad, they sent men from Nigeria to come and marry my mama. And my mom was like, well, this is my man. Like, y'all need to relax. Like, it's getting disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But just seeing them go through all of that warfare and even them naming me Love, that's truly out of love. I think, we have to be more intentional with your children are a part of you. So give them the most advantage that you can give them. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you competing with your child? Like, why do you want to feel like, oh, he gonna have to slave because I slaved? Isn't it better that now your child has 40 years of an experience now? They can be even 40 years ahead because their parent is educating them. And I am a product of that. I didn't have to start from the square one of the square one. I can start from where my dad left off, and now my daughter is gonna start from where I'm leaving off. And by the time the generation comes to generation, baby, we run in the city. What do you mean? You know what I mean? So I'm so grateful that my parents chose to say yes every day and stick it out through thick and thin, and still decide to be together after so many years, because it is not easy.
Yeah, definitely. So was your dad an entrepreneur, or kind of how did they pass that piece of it on to you?
Yeah, so actually, my dad, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs on my dad's side. Actually, that's interesting. Okay, that's a little curveball question. Even my mom's side of the family has a lot of entrepreneurs as well. Like my grandma, my uncle, my grandpa was the king of our little village. And so even his oldest son, my Uncle Raph, he moved to New York with nothing. He's a taxi driver. He has his hands in so many things. But he went back to Nigeria because he was like, the money is way longer in Nigeria, bro. Like, he's like, he can't get with it. But I think like that entrepreneurial spirit, even my dad, he went back to college because my mom went to college. And so, she picking him over everybody. But she was like, baby, you at least need a college degree. You got to get a degree. Just so my parents can say, now you went to go and be with this man who don't even have his degree. So of course my dad went and got more degrees than my mom, but at the end of the day doesn't even use one of them. He started a company called Pretty Quick Delivery Services, and he owned a trucking company, and that was a multi-million-dollar company. He's always been into insurance, different things like that. So my dad has always been a business owner, with or without that. So I think for me, it was just seeing that he can do it, even degree or not. I think that's also what has motivated me to just go out on a limb.
I love that, because as we were talking, before we filmed this episode, and I was just so struck by the legacy that you are benefiting from, and how that's like how it's gonna change your trajectory, right? And how you're able to have that strong foundation to like try do new things and new entrepreneurial ventures, and like how God's leading you in your life. I think you have that strong foundation because you've seen people who have chosen to love each other. That foundation of and how that's impacted your life. And I think it's so interesting because my wife is Indian and her parents were arranged marriage. And it's so interesting because, in arranged marriage, I mean, you pretty much learn to love somebody.
Right.
Like, if y'all going to be together, y'all going to have to learn to figure it out, right? So she got to see what it looks like to, like, learn to love somebody and grow with somebody over the years. My parents had similar experience in terms of, like, being together for a long time. And so I just really appreciate that expression. And so that's something that's given me that renewed fervor. Like, yo, like, I can do this for my own kids. So talk about, like, where you're going with your life. Like, where's all this leading to? What's your purpose? What is God leading into?
So my purpose is motivational speaking. That has always been something that I wanted to do ever since I was a little girl. I know my gifts are in my voice and in things like that. So I just think, I always said I wanted to do other things so it can fund my purpose and give me a standing in my purpose. But I also think God has me in a space where he's like, sweetheart, I qualify you. Like, if I say this is what I want you to do, this is what I need you to do, regardless of whatever you're telling yourself or whatever. If you don't do this, it's you in your own way. It's not because I said you can't do it, you know? And so I think being bolder in that and just making that first step and going out on that limb, you know, I think that's why another reason why I love my parents and my father in specific, because he's never made me feel like I have to be a slave to any job. He's never made me feel like I have to be, you know, just go and do this and just, no, he wants me to maximize all of my gifts. He's like, I'm working so hard so that you can do the things that are going to bring you long money, so that you can do the things that are going to make you in the position to be, because we're creators, you know? And so he wants me to be able to be creative. And, you know, there's always money and value at the end of the day. So as far as you're valuable, money will come. So I think that's my next step. Just like really being bold and leaning into the gifts that I already have, stewarding over them. Because we have so many gifts, and then people at 40 years old was like, okay, maybe I should have got into that. You've been known you were supposed to get into that. You know what I'm saying? You just weren't bold enough to do it. So that's where I'm at.
And so you're gonna go do it and then motivate other people to do it.
Correct.
And I love it. And so like that's why it makes so much sense that you're a spin instructor, because spinning is such a motivational like sport, I guess. It's like every spin class you go to, the spin instructor is gonna motivate you and be in your face and have like, you know, mindset things and all these things. So yeah, it just makes so much sense. And then, you know, with this podcast, I think it's going to be a really good podcast because you're like a very entertaining person, beautiful person. People are going to like watching, hearing you, and then your expression. So I think it's going to be a perfect outlet for that next phase. And so, yeah, looking forward to kind of supporting you and your motivational speaking, podcasting, spinning, all the things
Thank you
doing.
for this. You've poured into me so much, little do you even know. So this is all divine. I'm very appreciative.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming. And looking forward to seeing what you got going on. We're going to have Love's information in the description. So Instagram pages, whatever, all the things you got, so you can support her, follow her. Feel free to check out the next episode of the Blueprint Podcast. Should be popping up on your screen right about now. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.